Are you trying to learn Photoshop but everything feels too complicated? Great, then this video is for you. Everything you need to know to get started in just 20 minutes. First, what's Photoshop and who's it for? Well, Photoshop is a raster graphics editor, which is just a fancy way of saying it is a software used to create and edit images made out of pixels, like JPEGs and PNGs. For this reason, it's primarily used by photographers and digital artists. As the name itself implies, Photoshop is at its best when working with photography, as it has a wide array of features that allow you to completely transform your photos into the masterpieces they were always meant to be. This is the main focus of the software. It's what it does best, and it does better than any other software out there. However, Photoshop also has a pretty sturdy set of brush features and customization options, making it just as good of a choice when working with digital art. Lastly, Photoshop is also used a lot by designers, but it's important to say that we also have Adobe Illustrator, which is far better suited for things like graphic design. If that's what you're looking for, I have a video just like this one, but for Illustrator, and I'll leave the link in the description down below. Now, enough chatting, let's open Photoshop and get started. When we open Photoshop, we always start on the home screen. Here's where we can create a new file or browse our computer to open a file. On the center of the screen, we also have a list of recently opened files to quickly resume working on a project we haven't finished. The home screen also has a learning section with tutorials made by Adobe, which can be helpful for beginners. Clicking on the New File button opens this window with a bunch of presets on the left and settings we can customize on the right. Here, we can set things like size, measurement unit, resolution, and color mode of our project. However, a very common thing to do is to just drag and drop an image inside Photoshop, which will automatically open it as a new file, so that's what we'll do. Once the image is open, we are properly inside Photoshop, so let's have a look at the interface.
What is this?
Interface and layers. Photoshop's interface has the toolbar on the left, the properties and the layers on the right, and the canvas in the middle. When you first open your photo, you have the photo as the background layer, which we can unlock to start making edits to. If we would like to draw or add anything onto this image, to not destruct our original image, we add layers on top of this and then click on that individual layer to draw on top of that. And then you can always hide and show your added elements by clicking this little eyeball right here next to the layer. Adding layers on top of your image will always allow you to keep your original image intact if you ever feel like you need to revert back to the beginning. Now we're going to go through some of the tools that we have on the left-hand side of the screen. On the top, we have the Move tool. Underneath this, we have the Rectangular Marquee tool, which will allow you to click and drag on top of a selection of your image. So for example, if I want to select this flower, I hit Command-C to copy. I select a new layer. If I press Command-V, that will paste. If I press Command-Shift-V, that will ensure that I paste it in the same spot on my screen. So I press Command-Shift-V. Now you can see there's a flower that showed up here. If I hide my original layer, I can see that I just drew a rectangle and copied this part of the image onto my new layer. Underneath the Rectangular Marquee tool, we have the Lasso tool, which allows us to be a little bit more exact with our selections. I can do the same thing. Command-C, Command-Shift-V. This time I made a little bit more of a fun selection. The next tool is the Quick Selection tool. And this tool actually recognizes the shapes within your image. So as you're clicking and dragging around your image and the shape that you want to pick up, the tool does all the work for you instead of having to be so exact with your drawing when using the Lasso tool. So now, if I copy and paste this selection, you can see the differences in all three of my selections. This is the rectangular selection, this is by using the Lasso tool, and this is by using the Quick Selection tool. These are also all easy ways that you can remove the background from your image and select different elements and move them around to different layers. With all of Adobe Photoshop's recent AI updates, they've also included the Select Subject button, where if we click this, without us having to do any work with any of the tools I even just showed you, pretty crazy. And we can fine tune this. For example, if we want to add in the stem to our selection, up at the very top, if we hit the paintbrush with the plus sign, that will allow us to extend our selection. And as you can see now, I've selected some of the background. So if I want to remove this, I can click the paintbrush with the minus sign and this will allow me to take away from my selection. At any point, if you have a selection made on your screen and you decided you don't want to have this selected anymore, press Command D on your keyboard, and this will unselect everything you have. The inverse of select subject would be remove background. So this takes it one step further and again does all the work for you. You might be shocked right away because you'll think, oh my gosh, my original image was affected. How am I ever going to get that sky or the stem back? Well, what this did for you is it created a mask, and you can see that over here. And the white parts of this mask is what was kept, and the black parts of the mask are what was removed. If we want to bring the stem back, what we have to do is select our mask on the right-hand side of the screen, go to your paintbrush tool, change your color to white, so we're painting in white. We're going to change the size of our paintbrush at the top of the screen. And now, if we have our mask selected, we can draw back on our mask, and this will bring back parts of the image that we want to bring back. And again, if I want to now remove this, I can change the color to black, and we can take away from our image as well. So right off the bat, that's a few ways to start editing your images with the use of Photoshop's new AI tools and the first few selection tools.